One of the things that I find so attractive about a man is his consistency. And actually, it's quite attractive. You know why? Because consistency means that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, have that follow through every time. And that builds a trust in me in what you're doing. I can trust that you're going to be consistent with your behavior, what you're saying. And that allows me to become a little more vulnerable with you. And so when I'm more vulnerable with you, I'm most likely going to trust you more, have you come in, and be more intimate with you. It's not always about the physical intimacy. We're talking about like emotional intimacy, mental intimacy, perhaps even spiritual intimacy. And maybe not everybody's qualified to do that, and that is true. But you want to make sure that you find out if that person is that person you want to be in your holies of holies, in your inner circle, in your private space, and in your life for a long time by how consistent they are. So yeah, we're going to talk about consistency being attractive, being sexy, if you will, because it's something that you can rely on, you can depend on, and you can gain something from. And there's two ways we can talk about consistency. You can talk about consistency with our work ethic, with how we apply to our work, our goals, our careers, etc., and how we see other people in the dating atmosphere or in relationships. Because, I have to talk about relationships, one of my favorite subjects. So without a doubt, I want to know, is consistency a high priority in what you're looking for in a mate and in yourself? This is Tatianah Green, your host for Journey Through 30. To admit and keep it real with you guys, it's been a challenge doing some of these episodes every week, except for holidays, on a consistent basis. Even when I want to do it, I still don't want to do it because there's like this part of me in my laziness and my procrastination and my creative mindset that's like, no, we can put it off to another time or we can get back to it. But I'm so determined and I'm so desiring to be consistent with this project because I believe that it's bigger than me. So when I go every week and I record and I edit, I make sure I take out the time specifically to do it. I write it out in my planners. I'm going to record on this night of the week. I'm going to edit the video on this night of the week, upload it on Friday, and share it. And I've been doing pretty well, guys. So thank you all for rocking with me. If you've been with me pretty much most of these episodes, I'm happy to say that I made it to episode 10. And so what better topic to discuss than that of consistency? So I'm going to talk about the career and the goal stuff first before I get into the juicy relationship parts of consistency. Consistency with our goals, this is right on time because 2018 is right around the corner. And a lot of us are probably making lists. I'm making my list of things that I want to accomplish, things that I want to do in 2018 specifically. And many of us may have like New Year's resolutions still, or may have vision boards or some other thing that we want to motivate us to keep going with all the zeal that we have in the beginning of the new year to the end of the year. So I recommend these few tips or these reasons why consistency is sexy when it comes to applying yourself to your goals in life, to your job, to anything outside of the relationship part. For one, people respect consistency. It's hard to trust someone or give someone respect if you always see them double-minded, wishy-washy, flaky, and just not there when they say they're going to be there. Yeah, I don't like having to deal with flaky friends. I don't like having to deal with flaky people. I don't like dealing with that indecisiveness. It's just annoying to me. I'd rather deal with a consistency here. Like, oh yeah, we're going to have this discussion and it's going to be every other week or so. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect to the point. I understand that things come up in life, but keep the momentum going. You don't want to drop the ball, especially if it's something that is working towards being a more productive person or your development, your growth, anything of that nature. So, as you go about being consistent about achieving your personal goals for 2018, about achieving your success in your career, about applying yourself and challenging yourself to do new things, people will see that and they will respect you for it. I could say that since doing this project with Journey Through 30, the YouTube videos, and then eventually I'll get over to the podcast side and actual videos, people would leave comments, and I thank you all for that. I really do. That say keep going. It's inspiring. I'm like, okay, great. It's good to have some feedback. Because I don't want to just do it just to be doing it. I want to make sure that this has purpose to it and that God is leading me in the way as I go about this. So even when God gives us an idea for something, we can still face those moments where we don't want to do it at all, where we want to get off the consistency track and we want to be procrastinating, or we want to just pause it, or we want to take a break. Y'all, we don't have time to take a break and to pause and to put it off. We got to go with full force here on what he's called us to do. So when you follow through with your obedience, when you're consistent and you're faithful to what he's giving you to do or to the goal that you have in your heart, in your mind to pursue, you will see the benefits of your consistency because it will pay off. All those little things that you're doing to get to the big goal will make a difference. So even if you miss a week or two in the gym and you're trying to work out and get in a healthy lifestyle or lose weight, you got to keep going. You don't want to consistently not go to the gym. You want to consistently get back in the gym so you can do what you need to do. What that consistency looks like depends on the person and depends on your goals. So I can say you got to go there X amount of times in the gym or do this kind of diet or whatever the case may be. You got to work what works for you. So that's so important why you need to keep it personal. But while you go forward in your consistency, you could be posting your progress on social media, for example. People can get inspired by that and they can respect your consistency. Like, yeah, you've been showing up to work on time every day the past few weeks. Good job. You know, your people will notice what you're doing if you're doing something either negative or positive multiple times in a row. Like, they will notice, trust and believe. Like, if you are on like if you're on a date and you're always late, you're consistently not showing up on time, your date is going to think of you in a different way than they would if you were to consistently show up on time. So that's just something to think about for those who may have problems with time, like myself. Consistency also shows one's motives over time. Now, if you are pursuing a goal, but you have the wrong motives, your consistency or lack thereof will show itself over time. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in 2018, your heart is going to get checked, your body is going to get put to the test, your spirit is going to be tested, your emotions, everything. And so you have to consider, what does it take for me to push beyond how I feel right now so I can consistently do what I need to do today to get to my tomorrow, to get to my goal. So even if it's showing up to work on time, or if it's applying yourself a little harder to get work done at a certain time in a certain way, you will see that your motives for doing the thing will show themselves. Because if you're not really into it, or you're not really passionate about it, you're not going to see like the results that you want to, because you're not applying yourself fully. And then more likely you'll give up because you feel like it's not really worth it in your mind. But if you're really passionate about this thing and you really want to go after it, you're not going to let anything slow you down. With that consistency comes ambition, comes passion, comes purpose, comes mission. So consider like why you're doing the things that you're doing to get to the end result in your career or in whatever goal that you want to achieve in next year. I assure you, it's not going to be the easiest thing because it's a process. And yeah, we got to get tested, but that's how we get proven to get what we deserve. You got to work for these gold medals in the race. You can't just show up and say that you trained with your uniform. You got to run that race. You got to be consistent in your training to show and prove, like, yeah, I can meet my time. I can go the distance. I can reach the heights that are required of an athlete to get that gold medal and not just settle for making it to the Olympics. The last point I want to make about the career and the life goals aspect of consistency is that consistency builds endurance. You're going to want to practice being consistent in things that you can handle. So you can get accustomed to being consistent in things that are maybe a little more challenging than you expected. Ultimately, you're building that endurance to handle any situation that'll come in the next season that you have to face. So let's say that God is pressing upon your heart to be consistent about keeping in contact with your family members. I could say that's a thing for me because I have family members, including my own mom, who lives in a whole nother state than I do. So I have to be consistent in reaching out to her, texting her, showing her love, calling her because I'm her child. She wants me to call her. So in this season, being consistent in keeping that communication going with her and reaching out and loving on her and all my other relatives that God would bring to memory or bring to my mind to reach out to, I got to follow through with it because it's going to build that endurance that I'll need for when I get married or when I have kids, because I don't want to just have a flaky communication mentality. Communication is very necessary for any and all relationships to thrive. And so that is one example about consistency building endurance in your life. So you may feel like sometimes you just want to not be consistent. You want to give up. You want to take a break. I understand. But let me tell you that God believes in you and he believes in me. He put it in us to be consistent. He put it in us to endure through things. He put it in us to carry our cross and walk after him. And so we can see that in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 7 and 8. Appreciate your pastoral leaders who gave you the word of God. Take a good look at the way they live and let their faithfulness instruct you, as well as their truthfulness. There should be a consistency that runs through us all. For Jesus doesn't change. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. He's always totally himself. I love that. I love this version of that scripture selection because it's talking about looking to people in our lives that are supposed to lead us in the faith and seeing how they've been faithful and what that should do for us as believers. We should be inspired to do the same. We should be like the one who's leading us, the Lord. So Jesus can be consistent. He's perfect in every way. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So he's faithful to us. He's consistent with us. And that should give us enough hope that we can work harder to be consistent too in the everyday things that he gives us to do, or our 2018 goals, or our career goals, or in what I'll transition to next, our relationships. Consistency in relationships is necessary. If you have a flow, like in your relationship, you don't want to cut that off because you want to be abrupt and you want to not talk to someone because you don't feel like it. Sometimes it's not a relationship. It's not all about what you feel and what you think. You have to be considerate of the other person and take a step back from selfishness. When you disrupt the consistency flow of, let's say, communication, it can lead to misunderstandings. It can lead to confusion. It can lead to an argument. You know how people are nowadays with dating. We can get kind of paranoid about things like, oh, okay, they're not calling me anymore. I'm out, They're quick to run away. I could say I had that mindset before as well. So I appreciate when the people are consistent in the dating and relationship season. Also, consistency is attractive because it leads to you becoming more vulnerable with that person. If I know you're going to be there for me because you've shown yourself over time consistently showing up for me, I'm going to call you, in my mind, reliable, and I'll be able to open up more to you and give you more of me because I can trust you with that. And God does the same thing with us. When we are consistent and faithful to things in life, to what we currently have, He will allow us to get more because He can trust us with more. He can trust us more with His knowledge, His wisdom, His understanding when we consistently seek His face. As much as we are consistent about seeking Him and communicating with Him, we need that same energy applied to our romantic relationships, because you want to build with this person. You want to get a great relationship flow going. And so this requires you to not be flaky, to not be on and off, to not be, I want to be single today. You may have that thought, but don't follow through with it, especially if you're in a committed relationship. Listen, we all going to have those days where we're just off. And that's where grace and mercy and forgiveness come in. But don't get in the habit of not being consistent. You want to be someone that can be reliable, that can be trustworthy, that can be allowed more and given more. You owe yourself that. You can handle it. I believe in you. So in relationships, consistency is so necessary because that's how we can move forward in our relationships. We can't move forward if we can't trust each other. And we can't move forward with knowing each other deeply if we can't be vulnerable with one another because we're not consistently there. I'm sorry. If you're not going to be there for me, how can I tell you my deepest, darkest secrets? You're going to run away with them and probably tell somebody else. That's what I'm thinking. So if I know you're going to be there for me because you've shown up, then I'm going to consistently open up to you. So what are your thoughts on consistency? Is it something that you look for in someone that you want to be with? Is consistency an issue for you in other areas of your life? I could say I'm not that consistent about working out. Pray for your girl. Another thing that I want to be consistent in personally is posting on our Facebook page. Make sure you like us on Facebook. It's at Journey Through 30. So you see content on there posted by women for women, because Journey Through 30 derives from my book, Journey to 30, A Single Woman's Guide to Living Unapologetically Without Deadlines. So that book is also available for the holidays, Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa. So make sure you get it. It's available on Amazon, and the link is in the description too. So without a doubt, I want to encourage you this week to be consistent in whatever it is you may be challenged in. Now, it's easy to be consistent in the things that make us happy, like consistently go shopping or eating our favorite food. But I'm daring you, encouraging you, challenging you to be consistent in doing something that you know you need to do, at least one thing, and get it done. I'm challenging myself this week to be on time to places that I need to be, to church, and I'm going to just do church right now because that's a whole nother thing. All right. I love you all. Thank you for listening to Journey Through 30. And I look forward to a successful 2018 in life goals, relationships, and more. Thank you. God bless you. And I'll talk to you later. This is Tatianah Green, and you've been listening to Journey Through 30. Bye.